In the days when the Israelites were scattered across distant lands, there lived a man named Tobit, a righteous man whose heart overflowed with compassion and faith. He had endured trials, exile, and even blindness, yet his devotion to God never wavered. His son, Tobias, was young, brave, and full of hope, a reflection of his father's steadfast spirit. Little did Tobias know, his life would soon be entwined with a woman named Sarah, a demon, and the angel sent by God to guide him. Sarah was a young woman of striking beauty and piety, living in a distant city. Yet her life was shadowed by relentless torment. Every man she married was claimed by a mysterious force on the night of their wedding, and none survived. Families whispered, labeling her as cursed. Though she knew the truth, she was targeted by Asmodeus, a powerful demon fueled by envy and malice, who thrived on grief and isolation. This demon had no loyalty to reason or fairness. It struck suddenly, invisibly, suffocating joy, silencing laughter, and bringing death where there should have been union. Sarah endured years of sorrow, praying nightly to God for deliverance, her heart heavy with grief, yet her faith intact. Meanwhile, Tobit, blinded by an unfortunate accident, found himself helpless at home. Aware that his wealth, left with relatives in a distant city, could support his family, he called Tobias and instructed him to journey and retrieve it. Tobit, unaware of the divine plans unfolding, urged his son to travel carefully. Tobias, dutiful and trusting, prepared for the long road, accompanied by a stranger, Raphael, who presented himself as Azariah, a guide sent to protect him. From the outset, the journey was anything but ordinary. Tobias and his guide traveled through rivers and forests, encountering dangers that tested courage and discernment. At one point, a massive fish leapt from a river, threatening to drag Tobias into its watery depths. Raphael instructed him to catch it. Within the creature's heart, liver, and gall lay a secret, tools for protection, healing, and, ultimately, the weapon needed to confront the darkness that haunted Sarah. When Tobias reached the city where Sarah dwelled, the demon was already aware of his arrival. Asmodeus thrived on fear and anticipation. It stirred the household in shadowy ways, rattling doors, extinguishing lights, whispering threats into empty rooms. Sarah, though courageous, trembled at the unseen presence, knowing all too well the fate of her previous suitors. Raphael, though appearing as a mortal companion, revealed to Tobias that the fish's heart and liver held power. When burned, their smoke would drive away the demon. Tobias listened intently, sensing the weight of the task. He had never faced evil in such a tangible form before. Yet, with the angel at his side, he was emboldened, not by pride, but by divine guidance. On the night of the wedding, Asmodeus struck. Shadows thickened around the bridal chamber. A chilling wind extinguished lamps, and an oppressive silence fell. Sarah felt a weight on her chest, as if invisible hands pressed her down, whispering fear and hopelessness. Every instinct screamed that death was near. Yet Tobias, armed with the fish's heart and liver and guided by Raphael, acted decisively. He placed the heart on burning coals, releasing a purifying smoke that seeped into the room. The demon shrieked, a sound of fury and rage that made the walls tremble. It had never encountered such divine interference. As Tobias prayed, the smoke penetrated the shadows where Asmodeus lurked. The demon convulsed and roared, then fled, bound and powerless, cast into the far desert where it could trouble no one again. Sarah gasped in relief, feeling the first true peace of her life. Tobias' victory was not his alone. Raphael's guidance, the wisdom imparted by God through the tools of the fish, and Tobias' courage combined to confront an evil that had claimed the lives of others. Here, the story was clear. Divine aid is often present in forms unseen, but courage and faith are required to wield it. In the aftermath, Tobias and Sarah celebrated quietly, aware that their union was a miracle of providence. Their gratitude extended not only to the angel who had guided them, but to the God who orchestrated every step, the dangerous journey, the encounter with the fish, the confrontation with the demon. They knew that life would still hold trials, but the memory of this deliverance would fortify them forever. Raphael's true identity was eventually revealed. The angel declared that he had been sent by God to answer the prayers of Tobit and Sarah. His mission had been to guide Tobias, protect the righteous, and execute God's plan for deliverance. With his purpose fulfilled, Raphael departed, leaving Tobias, Sarah, and Tobit to marvel at the unseen hand that had steered them through fear and danger. The story of Tobias and Sarah is more than an account of miraculous survival. It is a tale of courage under invisible threat, of faith when hope seems fragile, and of the quiet ways divine guidance manifests. It invites readers to consider what forces, visible or hidden, shape the trials we face. How might unseen aid appear in moments of despair? And, above all, it beckons the curious to seek the fuller account in the sacred texts, where the mysterious, the terrifying, and the miraculous converge. Tobias' journey reminds us that human courage alone is often insufficient in the face of true evil, but when paired with divine wisdom and guidance, it becomes formidable. Asmodeus was powerful, yes, but not invincible. Fear may paralyze, and suffering may seem unending, but divine providence can transform vulnerability into triumph. The story closes with the sense that, even in a world shadowed by malevolent forces, hope, faith, and the right guidance illuminate a path to deliverance. And so, the tale of Tobias and the angel Raphael is not merely a story of love and marriage. It is a story that stirs curiosity, challenges the imagination, and invites the reader to ponder the unseen forces at work in their own life, urging them to open the pages of the Bible to witness the full scope of God's wisdom, protection, and providence. Thank you for joining this deeper retelling of Tobias and the demon that tormented Sarah. Stories like this remind us that the Bible holds mysteries, battles, and moments of divine intervention far more powerful than we often remember. If this episode stirred your curiosity, I invite you to open the Book of Tobit and discover the full story for yourself. Every detail, every struggle, every miracle. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves biblical mysteries. This is Rabbit's Foot Tales, and I'll see you in our next story, where faith meets the unseen.